What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're going to be doing the showcase video of the brand newly released on all versions of the game at the same time, on the English, the French, the Korean, and the Japanese version simultaneously, Trafalgar Law. This character is pretty freaking cool, and we're going to be going through quite a few clips in this video for you guys today, but, you know, when I pulled this guy, I definitely wanted to make some videos, so here we are today talking about Trafalgar Law. Such an interesting thing that they decided to make him debut on all versions of the game at the same time. I think it's a really exciting thing, especially because no one could data mine information prior to his release. So we were really waiting to see what this banner was going to give to us, and it is a very, very interesting banner nonetheless. But of course, if you are on the global side, I do suggest waiting for the French anniversary, but I digress. We're here to talk about this brand new law. Artwork, first of all, looks fantastic. I'm a big fan of the artwork, and the special animation and the idle animation of the character is also really cool. So for Trafalgar Law, he is a Psy, Free Spirit Slasher. His Captain effect will boost Free Spirit, Fighter, and Striker character's attack by 4.5 times when you have full HP, 4 times otherwise. Now, I did actually do a little bit of a test on this. It does not actually... You know, you don't actually lose the 4.5 if you're below full HP. It's just you have to be above 99%, which it's difficult either way you look at it, but it just means that in some certain situations, if you do use a dual unit to switch, and when a dual unit switches, sometimes the health will change on your team. It just means that if you are still above 99%, then you will still have the 4.5 multiplier. But then you're still getting a 4 times boost otherwise to 3 separate classes, which is still good. But honestly speaking, in a lot of difficult content, you're not going to have too many situations where you're going to be at full HP. There are lots of preemptives that cut your health, or there's just plenty of times you'll be taking damage throughout your run. But even still, a 4 times captain can get you through a lot of content, right? Obviously. Now, on top of the attack boosting multiplier, he gives you 1500 heal per turn, which is very good. So if you have 2 Trafalgar Law captains and you have max auto heal sockets, you're healing for 4000 HP guaranteed every single turn. So that's already fantastic. But then on top of that, reduces damage taken by 25%. So if you have double Trafalgar Law, max damage reduction sockets, and you have the Megalo ship, I think it ends up totaling around about 57% damage reduction, which is active constantly. Extremely powerful. And of course, there's going to be a character that we use a lot in this video, being the Ivankov Bon Clay, who is a really good free spirit unit. They have a switch ability which gives you 20% damage reduction every time, you know, obviously when you activate the switch. So I think it ends up totaling to like 65% or more damage reduction, which you can get every single turn. It's insane. He's extremely tanky and he heals a lot. So even if there is a situation where you're no longer at full HP, it won't take long for you to get your health back. Plus, he is boosting Free Spirit and Striker specifically, which have really good healers. So no matter what, you're going to find characters in order to fit into those slots to heal your crew back. And of course, we'll talk about some of those as we go throughout this video. So Captain Effect... In terms of JP side of things, I don't think it's nowhere near the top of JP, but on global right now, I think it is a very good captain effect. I don't think he's a tier 0 character, but I do think he is extremely strong. So as for his special, I do have him at maxed keyed limit break as well, by the way. Probably should establish that. He is fully keyed up, so he's maxed limit break as high as he can possibly go. His special is 13 turns, so it's 14 turns after limit break, and then if you expand his limit break, you get an additional cooldown. But it will go ahead and change your crew's empty, block, bomb, recovery, G, and badly matching slot, and his own slot into matching, which is actually really good. In this video that you guys are going to be seeing, there is certain pieces of content where it's nice just to use his special just to get at least one matching slot, and it really does make a big difference because he does that really good ore manipulation, and then states that if your captain is either fighter, slasher, striker, or shooter, you get a 2.25 times ore boost to all characters for 2 turns. It's immensely powerful. But then if your captain is cerebral, free spirit driven, or powerhouse, he applies a chain lock debuff. Now, it's not a debuff, sorry. It's technically a debuff. Chain locks are technically considered as debuffs, but what this means is, a lot of people don't understand what this means. So you can see it says minimum value 2.5, maximum value 35.0. this does not mean that your chain multiplier goes up to 35. It just means that when you launch this special, your chain cannot exceed 35, but it means that your chain will start at 2.5. So it means that if you have a chain boosting captain like, V3 Kuzan or V2 Mihawk, for example, it just means that this character will not allow your chain to exceed that. But this is very good in a lot of content because it means you start your chain at 2.5, and then of course when you hit all your perfects, you get 2.5 times chain multiplier. So it means that your final chain will be a 5 times chain on your last hit, which is extremely good. So you have a huge chain boost and a humongous orb boost, and that's all for 2 turns. This character is amazing, so good, and he's going to see a lot of play, not only as a captain, but also as a sub. He does have a very powerful support effect as well, supporting only Beppo and Corazon, and it says once per quest, if the enemy changes your crew slots, changes free spirit characters, empty block, bomb, recovery, and G orbs, and badly matching slots into matching. So again, if like the final boss changes all your orbs into block or something, you can just change them into matching. It's really, really good. You could specifically use like Legend Corazon, or you can do it in the reverse order. You can have this guy with Corazon support on him, which is great, just added utility, right? So there are a lot of benefits going towards this guy, and we'll discuss more of it as we get into the video, but without further ado, let's get into the showcase of Trafalgar lore. So getting into the swing of things for the showcase video, I have an array of different clips for you guys to talk about here. First of all, we're going to have a look at Raid Big Mom, which I personally consider to be like top 3 most difficult clashes in the game. Because currently, as of me pulling this unit, the quick raids were out. I was going to do one against Raid Zoro, but I decided not to. Well, I ended up doing a Raid Zoro video to clear it so I could actually go up against Ambush Linlin, which will be another clip you guys will be seeing in this video today. But for this particular team, we have just a really weird array of characters, right? Remember, Law's Captain Effect boosts Free Spirit, Fighters, and Strikers. So you can apply any of those units to your teams here. So in this situation, we've got the Dex Smoker to switch into the captain position, who works on the team because he's a striker captain. Perospero, really powerful rare recruits, one of the best rare recruits in the game, is also a striker. We're running then Sober Mask as well to give us an attack boost on multiple different turns, as well as Lucy. Lucy also can give you the attack boost over multiple turns, but the main reason why Lucy's on this team is because he has the potential ability of slotbind reduction, and he completely removes it with his max limit break. So that's the main reason why we're running him. We just needed a quick character that has full slotbind immunity, and he was my unit of choice. But this team honestly impressed me, and it did clear it relatively fast compared to a lot of other teams out there. I think Legend Carrot can clear this relatively quickly as well, but it's just nice to have access to a unit that can clear this content, just showing it off and how good he is at clearing it. But there are a lot of other clips you guys are going to be seeing in this video today. The next one after this is going to be against Coliseum Lore, which is a relatively difficult Coliseum, and it took me a few tries in order to get a team that actually had some cohesiveness that was able to clear it effectively, and I definitely come up with a team that's able to clear it pretty effectively. So if you have the available units and you don't have Coliseum Lore Max, then make sure to go ahead and do it. But talking about Lore himself, I am a big fan of this unit. I do like his captain effect and what he tries to do. The main problem that I found from using Trafalgar Lore, especially is highlighted in some of the Garp challenges that you guys are going to be seeing towards the end of this video. But one thing that I definitely have noticed by using this guy is that matching orbs is very difficult with this guy. Now, obviously, it doesn't really help considering I don't have any matching orb sockets on my team, or if I do, it's really low level, like probably level 1, maybe level 2 if you're lucky. Most of the time, I max out characters with damage reduction sockets. I think it's just way better to have it. I'd much prefer have constant damage reduction rather than a chance to get some more matching slots. But I have noticed that through using Trafalgar Lore, matching slots is quite difficult to come by. So that might be something you may want to look at if you do end up pulling this unit, because he already has really good passive damage reduction. You maybe want to go with matching slots instead. But at the end of the day, I was still able to clear a lot of high-level content without having the matching orb sockets. So it's up to you at the end of the day, but I do think that having either some really powerful crewmate effects that can make some slots beneficial will help you out here. So talking about this specific clip, this is against Coliseum Stampede Lore. Now, something that I do have to note is that I am using the support Corazon for this team, and I am also using the support of the Carrot from the support banner that came out a couple weeks ago on Nami, because that Luffy on stage 3 is quite annoying, because after a couple of turns he puts up a blue shield buff, and Nami, after you hit it perfect with the Carrot support, can completely remove it, so it makes a pretty big difference. And then this stage here with the Alvida, Kabaji, and Buggy is really annoying as well, but as long as you leave Alvida leader alive, it's no problem. And then Law himself is again super annoying because he makes all your slots beneficial, or a lot of your slots non-beneficial for multiple turns. Like, he does it every single turn. So the thing here is we can use the Shirahoshi special, and even though Law revives, we'll be able to keep those matching slots because of the Megalo ship. Megalo ship is definitely the best ship for clearing content with this guy. Obviously, Ho ship's really nice if you're going up against content you want to clear really quickly. But if you are against some high difficulty content, then I do think the Megalo ship is probably his best ship. But it depends on what type of team you're bringing. If you're running a full Free Spirit team, you may want to go with the Kuja Pirate ship. You may want to go with the Polar Tang. It does depend on what you're doing. I do think that it is a little bit weird, though, that Trafalgar Law is a Free Spirit slasher, but he doesn't boost slashers at all. He boosts strikers and fighters as well as the Free Spirit class. So it is a bit different because when I was doing some team building a little earlier with this guy, I accidentally put slashers on the team, just kind of thinking he would boost slashers because obviously didn't have much time to really understand the unit. I wanted to understand the unit while playing him, and realizing that he doesn't boost slashers, I found it really odd. But at the same time, boosting strikers and fighters and Free Spirit, you can't deny that that is a very, very good captain effect as to what he can provide. Another really good thing about using Shirahoshi on this team is that we get the full heal, so we can enable us to get the 4.5 multiplier, which makes a really, really big difference. So moving on to the next clip is going to be against Ambush Linlin. For this team, I don't think it's the most cohesive team out there for this character clearing Ambush Linlin, but it did get the job done. One thing that I didn't really realize when I was making the team is that, like, I wanted to put the time skip Nami on the team just because of how useful she is for her utility, but I didn't realize that the support effect of Raid Ace on the Whitebeard would not change the orb of Nami. That's a big problem because when you use the Law special, he's going to go ahead and change that empty orb that Nami has into matching, which will activate the enemy interrupt. Even though that one of our characters got blown away, not a problem. I believe as long as Sabo and Koala doesn't get blown away, you're good to go, right? So no real big problems there, but if Nami had a matching orb and then you use the Law special, I don't believe it would activate the interrupt, because if you already have a full board of matching slots and then the character changes your slots again into matching, I believe it doesn't activate the interrupt, because if the orb is changed into the same orb, I believe it doesn't count. I think that's how it would work. So if there was a situation where Nami was able to get a matching slot, it really wouldn't make a difference. So I believe if I had, like, maybe the support of VV support probably would have worked a bit better, so I wouldn't have even had to worry about the interrupt of Ambush Linlin, which is pretty good. But either way, Sabo and Koala are a really, really good sub for the Trafalgar Law, because they give us an attack boost to Free Spirit and Cerebral. Free Spirit specifically is what we're focusing on. I do think that Free Spirit is Law's best class, 110%. Law's best class is going to be Free Spirit. Obviously, you can run whatever you want with him, but from experience from using him thus far, Free Spirit are definitely the best units to use with him. And then moving on now to the Garp challenges. So we have Dofi Challenge 1 and we have the Revolutionary Army Challenge 1. And the cool thing about this is that we are using unit for unit the exact same team on Rev 1 and Dofi 1. And the cool thing here is that it completes 2 missions at once. The Psy variation and the Free Spirit variation. So if you have the applicable characters, you can clear 2 different missions at once, which is really good. So again, the Ivankov and Bon Clay is such a good unit for high level difficulty content, for their amazing switchability for consistent damage reduction, and their amazing special effect that can provide lots of healing and great utility. So the Ivankov and Bon Clay is such an exceptional rare recruit, and if you have the available materials, I probably would go ahead and suggest to Limit Break expand them, just because it increases their stats. I think it actually gets them 1 less cooldown as well, so that's kind of worth it, right? Another unit on this team we're using is the Otama. They're really good. Otama can remove Despair and remove enemy defense, which obviously we use here. And then, of course, the switchability of Ivankov and Bon Clay remove paralysis by 1 turn every time you use it. So not only are we reducing damage that we're taking, but we're also removing paralysis, which happens a lot on Dofi Challenge 1. Now, we are using the brand new Luffy that dropped today as well on this team. I didn't really want to use the other Sabo. I felt like Legend Sabo V1 was a much better fit for this team, because we can get multiple turns of an attack boost, which I think is much more valuable rather than 1 turn of a really big chain boost for the Garp challenges specifically. So that's the reasoning behind using a character such as that. I was running some other variations. I actually was able to clear it. Instead of Sabo, we're using 6+ V2 Boa, who, if you guys don't know, is a color affinity booster, and she does fixed damage to the enemy. She's a pretty good unit, but after doing some thinking, I definitely realized that using an attack booster, an additional attack booster on the team, made me clear it a lot easier, right? And then the next clip that you guys are going to be seeing is going to be against the Revolutionary Army, which, as I said, is running the exact same team and is able to wipe the floor with it, which is is super impressive. And once again, the Megalo ship is a great addition to the team because not only do you get that damage reduction, you get a recovery boost to the captain as well. But this special to lock your orbs, and as I said at the start of the video, getting matching slots for lore was a little bit of a struggle throughout the fight, I'm not going to lie. So in those certain situations where you do get a good board of matching slots, or the enemy does give you those block orbs, or the recovery slots, or anything like that, in those situations, lore is going to dominate because he can just change them into matching, and then you can lock them with the ship special. But naturally, yourself trying to get matching orbs, it is a little bit of an annoyance. But as I said, if the enemy gives you, you know, the empty orbs, bomb orbs, G orbs, whatever it may be, lore's going to be your go-to to provide additional support on top of that to give you those orbs, which you can then lock with the ship. But overall, I am super impressed with this brand new Trafalgar lore. I think he has a lot of things going for him, and the fact that he can boost 3 separate classes means that any sort of unit that releases under those classes is going to be an indirect benefit to this character moving forward. So I am definitely excited to see what's going to happen, especially on the JP side of things, because JP, we are expecting them to release a super type legend for their Psi color. So it's going to be interesting to see. I hope that the character works in tandem with this Trafalgar lore. Potentially this lore is meant to be a really powerful sub for a brand new Psi super type legend that's going to be debuting soon. Maybe that's the case. We just don't really know at this current point in time, but I'm super pumped to see what they're going to be doing moving into the future here. And I am a pretty big fan of the new Luffy and Sabo that both have debuted in this banner here. I think both of them are pretty good rare recruits, and a lot of people are asking, are they going to be available in future banners? Are they only available now? From my personal experience and from what I've seen so far on the banner, it doesn't state anywhere that the characters will not be available in future banners. So I would expect them. They're going to be available throughout any banner whatsoever moving forward. Their rates probably won't be that high unless if they're going to be boosted on a particular part. But from what I've seen, it looks like they will be available on future Sugo Fests. And same thing would go for this brand new Trafalgar lore character. So that's what I am expecting moving forward for future banners. So even if you don't summon on this Trafalgar lore banner, which I strongly suggest not to do not summon on the banner. Wait for the French anniversary, because I believe Trafalgar lore will also be available on the banner. I don't think he'll be rate boosted, but I think he will be available to be summoned for. So I would say wait for that. I think that's probably the best way moving forward if you want to get your hands on this guy, Trafalgar lore. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. I'm going to leave you guys with the rest of this clip against the Garp challenge versus the Revolutionary Army. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
ジェクションショット。インジェクションショット。
やるな、やるな、やるな、やるな、やるな。
嘘でしょ。
やるな、嘘でしょ。やるな、
嘘でしょ。
いいことしやがって。目処が許